All right, the next FA we're going to be talking about is FA for powers of 10. The number is NBT1a. And the I can statement says, I can recognize the relationship between digits in multi-digit numbers by powers of 10. And this is where that flip chart comes in that we talked about in class, where we had, let's say, 10 to the second power is 100. And once you find one of those, then you know this is going to be 10 to the first, this is going to be 10 to the 0, and we have 10, and we have 1, and then we have 10 to the third is going to be 1,000, and 10 to the fourth is going to be 10,000. And then if you remember, we looked to find some sort of patterns. And what we talked about was the exponents. Okay, the exponents here tell you actually how many number of zeros follow that number. So where I have the exponent of 4, that means I have 4 zeros that follow that number. I have an exponent of 1, I have 1 0 that follows that number, and so on. So this problem came up to be 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 3. And the question was, it says, what is the relationship between the value of the 5s in this number? Be sure to explain your answer using place value. Well, a couple things you could do here. You can use your tens chart up here, right up here, that you just made as a guide. Okay, and you could say, well, this is 10 to the 0 power, this is 10 to the 1 power, this is 10 to the 2 power, and this is 10 to the 3 power. So if I was comparing 5s, I would say I have a 10 to the 3rd power minus a 10 to the 1 power equals a 10 to the 2 power, which equals 100. So you could say the value of this, or the difference in the 5s, is the 5 in the thousands place, okay, which is this 5 over here, is 100 times greater than the 5 in the tens place. Or you could reverse it and say the 5 in the tens place is 100 times smaller than the 5 in the thousands place. Okay, now this is kind of difficult, so we're going to do another one of these. So let me pause the tape here a second. Okay, so the second problem here talks about what is the relationship between the 4s in the number 42,541. Once again, 42,541. Well, a couple ways to do this. And once again, we can do the 1 is going to be 10 to the 0, 10 to the 1, 10 to the 2, 10 to the 3, and 10 to the 4. Okay, because 10 to the 4 is 10,000, and I have 4 of those, so I have 40,000. So I want to compare this 4 in the 10,000s place value and this 4 in the tens place value. So I can do 10 to the 4th minus 10 to the 1st equals 10 to the 3rd. And I know my 10 to the 3rd is thousands right there. So when I compare the 4s, I could say the 4 in the 10,000s place is 1,000 times greater than the 4 in the tens place. Or I could switch that around and I could say the 4 in the tens place is 1,000 times smaller than the 4 in the 10,000s place. And once again, there's probably going to be a few questions coming from the common assessment that we get from the FA, and what you really need to understand in here is this chart right here. You need to be able to make this chart. Use your flip chart, study that, but if you understand the value of tens and exponents, you're going to really make these questions on the common assessment that revolve around this very simple.